Welcome back to hell, I'm Mephisto. Wrong cult meeting. Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and this is Mephisto Watch. Deadline is now reporting that our Dark Lord and Savior may indeed appear in the MCU Ironheart series coming to Disney Plus next year, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. I thought we saw the devil in Borat too. Now, I was hesitant discussing this before since it was just a rumor only buzzed about from not always reliable anonymous scoopers online, but now, very legitimate news source Deadline has reported, quote, a source close to the production confirmed to Deadline that there has been talk on the set about Cohen being part of Ironheart, likely playing Mephisto. Reps for Marvel and Cohen have refused to comment on any Cohen involvement in Ironheart or the larger MCU. Now, if you're Deadline, you do not run with that unless there is something there, and I think signs are pointing to Mephisto's debut. I mean, sure, I have always been an Adventist, seeing Mephisto sign its importance ever since 2020, and yes, I, like many of you, was pretty surprised that a show like Ironheart would be the one to introduce Mephisto. Kind of feels like saying the next Fast and Furious movie would introduce Santa Claus. I guess the way that franchise is heightening, possible. But the more you look into Ironheart and everything Marvel Studios has been teasing about it, Mephisto actually starts to make a lot more sense in the show. So Ironheart will be a 6-episode series coming to Disney Plus in 2023, starring Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, an MIT engineering student from Chicago who builds armor in the style of Iron Man. We will first meet her in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, where trailer footage has shown her in at least 2 versions of her armor, a Mark I suit during a car chase, and then later in Wakanda, a Mark II suit. She works alongside Shuri in the Wakandan lab, hammers out a heart shape in vibranium. She appears alongside Queen Ramonda during an attack from Namor and blasts off from Wakanda in Mark II armor with Tony Stark's Mark 50 style rocket boosters and an internal heads-up display. Other promos have given us different looks at her armor. The villain of this Ironheart series will be Anthony Ramos as Parker Robbins, aka the Hood, a criminal known for wielding guns that fire bullets with mystical properties. In the comics, Robbins gets his mystical powers from a demon that is later revealed to be Dormammu. But reportedly in this series, Dormammu, whom we saw in the 2016 Doctor Strange film, and doesn't really have a human avatar. He's mostly just a big purple face in the dark dimension. It sounds like Dormammu is instead being swapped out with Mephisto, a demon who's known to take many human forms. Now, I saw the Ironheart trailer at D23 and Mephisto did not show up in it. Brief summary, we see Jim Rash's MIT liaison from Captain America Civil War reprimanding Riri for one of her experiments blowing up. He says, Ms. Williams, you are not the first genius at MIT. And Riri says, I'm an engineer. The best way to know things is to take it apart and put it back together. Then you can see what it's made of. What I'm doing, that's iconic. Parker Robbins says, anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done. What will you do, Riri? And Riri says, I'm gonna build something like him, referring to Iron Man, but then she adds, but you know, better. Really, it was the panel with Anthony Ramos and executive producer Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige that hinted at what Parker Robbins might have meant by questionable, because they pitched this show as a conflict between technology and dark magic that might have been unlocked through a deal with the devil. On the stage, Anthony Ramos was particularly foot and mouth in a way that no other presenter was that day that I saw. This guy was definitely scared of saying the wrong thing.
Parker, it's a deep dive into a dark place he goes into, unfortunately, but I think on the inside, Parker believes truly that he's doing good and has a love for his crew and he has a love for his people. I don't want to get this. I'm over here trying to dance around the plot like this because I can't give y'all the deets.
Thank you for coming here, Anthony. It's amazing. No more. He's dancing too close. But what's great is if you know the character from the comics, he deals in the dark arts. He deals in magic.
And when I was sitting there listening to Ramos and Feige, I thought, what are they dancing around? We saw what this guy's deal is in the footage. But now, based on these reports of Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, in retrospect, it really does seem like Feige was warning Ramos about dancing too close with the devil. As if right before they walked out on stage, Feige said, do not say Mephisto. Now, we here at New Rockstars have a precarious relationship with spoilers, but I gotta spoil something for you right up front here. I gotta talk about my balls for a second and how the sheath underwear makes everything more comfortable. Sheath makes boxers that are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Every pair has 2 individual compartments to keep everything down there separate and cool and comfortable. You know, one pouch for your kangaroo Joey and another pouch for Joey's nose. Sheath has a modern ergonomic design intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for long durations, which, you know, can build up heat and sweat. Normal boxers don't separate it at all, obviously. And now that you know that there is another better option, you'll never go back. Sheath has this inverted kangaroo pouch for your Joey to keep from sticking to your thigh. You'll chafe and readjust way less because everything is in a separate compartment. And because everything is separate, there's less smell too. They were invented by a US Army veteran who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it is hot as hell and his undercarriage was underserved dwarfed by traditional underwear. So we invented Sheath to keep everything cool and comfortable. And now that winter is coming, Sheath has released some great new winter gear to keep you and the boys nice and cozy all winter long, like their dual pouch base layers and a fitted bamboo hoodie. And Sheath ships super fast, so your order will arrive in just a few days. And take a look at all the reviews on their website for official proof. Click the link below and use the code NEWROCKSTARS at checkout, or go to sheathunderwear.com/newrockstars for 20% off. That's sheathunderwear.com/newrockstars, or just click the link below and use the code NEWROCKSTARS for 20% off. Trust me, your balls will thank you. Now here on Mephisto Watch, we gotta remind you all of the recent hints to the guy. In Thor: Love and Thunder in Omnipotent City, Zeus referenced Satan in the background if you listen closely.
So now we're going to announce the winner of the most human souls sacrificed in the name of a god.
These gods aren't going to help, but that thunderbolt, I think that might be of use. Jane, you go right.
And then, of course, in episode 4 of She-Hulk, we saw Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but now what do you think? Being sent to a hell dimension with skulls on spikes and lava caverns, and Madison returning with a bloody human heart from a demon goat named Jake. In the closing credits art, we saw Jake with a name tag, which I'll try not to take as a personal dig. These lighthearted nods to Mephisto do line up with the casting of a comedic actor in this role, though Sacha Baron Cohen has range, getting awards buzz for his portrayal of Abby Hoffman in the Trial of Chicago 7. The truth is that Mephisto can lurk anywhere, regardless of the tone of the title, as the devil can hide behind any corner, in any shadow, with a tempting deal for any hero. We say, not today, Satan, because Satan can drop by any day. But I think there's a secret double meaning in the title Ironheart. When you look at Mephisto as a dealer in human hearts and claiming souls, Riri, as a technologist, has a heart of iron. She's uniquely immune to the seductions of a devil promising supernatural power, because for an engineer like her, power comes from a soldering iron. It's a lot like when Loki tried to use his scepter to turn Tony Stark's heart evil.
This usually works.
Well, performance issues,
Tony's Ironheart saved him in that moment. The Deadline report suggested Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto could be introduced in Ironheart so that he would then appear in other MCU titles beyond that. Agatha, Coven of Chaos seems like a likely option. Agatha was a Salem witch in 1693, and historically, she and other witches during that era did consider themselves lovers and wives of Satan. And in the comics WandaVision was based on, Agatha was a servant of Mephisto. And coming out of that series, there is so much more to the origin of the Darkhold, how it got in the hands of that coven. And from the prologue of Werewolf by Night, we got a lot of questions about the backstory of supernatural lore in the MCU. And now that Blade is being delayed a year with a page 1 rewrite, Mephisto might be part of those plans as well. It could be telling that the same week we learn Marvel Studios is delaying Blade is the same week it gets out that they're hiring Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. This could line up with Blade meeting Dane Whitman in the Eternal post-credit scene and set up a Midnight Suns team up consisting of Blade and Black Knight and Moon Knight and Elsa Bloodstone and Jack Russell and Ghost Rider. God, I hope that heart that Madison had belonged to Johnny Blaze. Comment down below and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.